Hello IGN, this is Kevin McDonald here. With me is Mr. Scott Lowe.
Hello.
Hello. And you've been playing a lot of a very much anticipated video game here at Gamescom. What have you been playing?
That is correct. I've been playing Battlefield 4, running on PC and on the new mode and map revealed this week at Gamescom.
So what's the new stuff that we've seen about Battlefield 4 this week?
So the new mode is called Obliteration. Great title, by the way. And basically what it is kind of like a neutral bomb objective-based game mode where like two teams basically are tasked with like finding randomly spawning bombs on a map and taking them to three distinct destinations, 3 for each team, and basically blow them up. So basically it's like kind of this really long back and forth, kind of like, you know, almost like football, because you drop the ball and you got to pick it up. And
you mean American football?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Got to remember where I am. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting dynamic because, you know, if you drop the ball or the bomb, you have to defend it until you can pick it up again, or kind of take it back from the team. So it's kind of this back and forth, and then like of course when you get to the objectives, you have to like detonate it or arm it and then wait for it to detonate. And there's like a kind of defensive element there. And of course there's the new map called Parcel Storm, which unlike very much like the E3 demo, which included the Shanghai kind of city landscape, showcases Levolution, as DICE is calling it, which is basically, an event triggered in the map that dynamically changes everything. So in this case, it's like an island environment that at one point just gets ravaged by like a crazy storm, and it the seas kind of get all torn up. A like nearby battleship crashes into the island. It just gets really, really crazy, and it's like it kind of just affects the way you can play without being able to see the other players. It obscures your vision. It's obviously when you're in a boat, like it'll rock you all about. It's really interesting.
So those two things sound like significantly different types of multiplayer experience from what you get from Battlefield. Do you think it's different enough?
I think so. I mean, Battlefield has always been about like not so much the rigid confines of the gameplay itself, but how players interpret it. Like if you want to play in a vehicle, you can play in the vehicles. If you want to like play as a team and really work hard on the infantry side of things, or just mash it all together, it's a very varied kind of style of gameplay. And then you add to that these new modes. Like I think the potential for like long-term longevity in terms of like replayability online and keeping going with the multiplayer community, I think it's going to be great, because obviously Battlefield has been kind of rigid in a lot of its game modes, like Rush and Conquest. Like now these are adding like new dynamics, which I think are kind of interesting, and again kind of forces that idea of team play.
So we both played one other highly anticipated multiplayer shooter earlier this morning, Titanfall, which I found so exciting I was literally shaking with adrenaline afterwards. I feel like that's the biggest challenge at the moment to the old boys, Battlefield and Call of Duty. How do you feel they compare?
Well, it's interesting. A few people have asked me, like, does Titanfall feel like a Call of Duty killer? And I'm like, no, honestly, it feels like it has more of a DNA with something like a Battlefield, because it has like the dynamic of like objective-based gameplay, but also the vehicle environment and kind of that open interpretation of how you want to go. Like, where do you want to play vertically? You want to play, climb atop buildings, or do you want to like snipe from afar? That kind of stuff, like, it really allows you to play a lot of different ways, whereas Call of Duty is much more rigid. So I think, honestly, as a total shooter bro, I think that each will be satisfying to like multiple kind of groups of players. But yeah, again, I feel like Titanfall is more along the lines of Battlefield. Yeah. It's
basically for people who like big stompy robots as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Definite advantage. Well, for everything else on Battlefield 4 from Gamescom 2013, you're already in the right place. Stay with us on IGN.